Hello, I am Michelle.
And I'm Natalie the Red.
And this is Force of My Entertainment. The hunt for my nickname, by the way, is still on. So keep lead. I found some ones I really like. You guys are creative.
There are. I was trying to think the one I like the most.
I kind of
go back and look.
I actually really liked Michelle the Marvel or Michelle the Magnificent.
I think I really liked that.
There were a couple of them, but I want them to keep coming. I want like full options here, guys. So keep those. Good job and keep them coming.
Keep them coming.
Yes. Well, as the Gina Carano backlash continues, we're to the point, guys, Lucasfilm can't even put anything out on YouTube or Twitter. When they put something on YouTube, it just begins to get downvoted to oblivion.
They downvote
the
heck out of those videos.
I mean, they're getting destroyed. And then
roasted on the day.
And then the comments a lot of them, which I actually appreciate this because, guys, we encourage you. We appreciate people wanting their voice heard.
Yeah.
Just do it in a respectful way. And the ones I've seen, especially the new trend, is just to say, why try to destroy my life with a lie when I can, what is it? The Gina Carano quote.
When yours could be run with the truth.
There we go.
That sentiment, basically.
Yes, everyone and then Gina Carano. Like, that's what people are putting. I mean, it's pretty funny. But as this is happening, in fact, there's some YouTubers that have even said that on Twitter, they're now having bots to try to up their likes on Twitter. I mean, I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
You can take that with a grain of salt, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. But as all of this happens, it begins to beg the question, all this has to go to the top, guys, and the head honcho right now is Kathleen Kennedy. So it begs the question, should Kathleen Kennedy be fired? And so in this video, we're going to answer, should she be fired? And ultimately, the title of this video, will she be fired? So we'll begin with, should she be fired? Natalie, you going to tell them to?
Oh, what I was going to say was, first of all, welcome to our new subscribers. We are so happy to have you here. As we are getting closer, to approaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers, we encourage anybody new watching, please hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on for notifications so you know when we upload. And if you would so kindly hit that like button, or if you're that person that always does the, do your thing.
Yes, but we appreciate you, and it definitely helps us out when you hit the subscribe button. That way, you can always find us. Then we'll be right there in your subscription. So definitely go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Well, I remember a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I remember when it was first announced that Disney had purchased Lucasfilm and that George Lucas was leaving Kathleen Kennedy in charge. I didn't know anything about her. Obviously, I do now. And I remember thinking back then as a lifetime female Star Wars fan, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's cool to see a woman be in charge of Lucasfilm. But Natalie and I, we truly believe in equality, which means if a woman is going to have the top job, we are able to criticize her the way we would criticize a man in the top job. So we are going to be evaluating her job performance on that, not on the fact that she's a woman.
Can I make a point here too, real quick? And this is not really to do with Kathleen Kennedy per se, but I think something people that's sort of lost on people these days, like, yes, that's wonderful to have women in positions or people of different minorities, but if you're just hiring them based on like meeting a quota of like women, this category, it's like, maybe that's sexist, So I'm just saying, it's like, you want to pick the right person for the job. And if that's a woman, that's awesome. If that's this minority, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And do you see what I'm saying?
Well, definitely, because whether it's sports and in this case, this is a business. So we're going to discuss this from a business standpoint, which has nothing to do with whether the head of Lucasfilm was male or female.
Right.
It has to do with the bottom line because it is a business.
The brass tacks of it all.
So we're going to be covering it that way. And, for starters, I will say, people say, well, the movies, the sequels, they made a lot of money. And that is true. All 3 sequels, plus I believe Rogue One, made $1 billion. So that's fantastic. So out of 3 out of the 4 films done under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership have made $1 billion. But it is also worth pointing out that Star Wars is one of the biggest, and it definitely was the biggest in the past. Marvel really has probably overtaken it, sadly, but it's one of the biggest franchises in the world. So, and especially, The Force Awakens fan, I will give claps there, made a $2 billion. But I mean, can you think of a more anticipated movie?
Right.
Than the fact that we were going to see Han, Luke, and Leia for the first time in over 30 years?
And that's kind of like if you've got a sugar addict like myself and it's like, hey, there's pie in the kitchen. Do you want some?
Like everyone wanted that. We were all excited. But, moving, if you move forward, so you get 2 billion with The Force Awakens, but then you get like 1.3 billion for The Last Jedi, big dip. And then from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker is literally right at $1 billion loss.
So they're just
keep going down.
And
I think that just shows people weren't really loving it. And, I enjoyed the sequels in many ways for the most part. I don't love The Last Jedi. The Force Awakens was fun.
Their expectations
were subverted. The financial ones were subverted. But I can't argue money. I mean, that's, again, the bottom line.
Yeah,
and the bottom line,
a business.
It is. The bottom line is it was $1 billion drop in that amount of time. So that's not good. And of course you had Solo, and I actually like Solo. I think it's a pretty good movie, but it got crushed at the box office. And there was so much money that they had to put in it, which leads into another thing of, she has now fired more directors than she has actually had stay to work on a movie. I mean,
I think Kathleen gets a little fire happy, it seems.
Well, it's just it's starting to feel like they announce a director and that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Because
they're like, will they be there in a couple months?
Yeah. And I mean, how many projects can we throw out? The Rian Johnson trilogy and all this stuff. Guys, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And nor do I think it would even be wise for that to happen. But my point is it's kind of like, we're going to do this, this, and this. And it's kind of like a parent who says, oh, we'll do it tomorrow. And that means you're not going to get it. Like
maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. It's gone to the point when they say they're going to do something, we don't even have confidence as fans because it's that dysfunctional. And again, that goes to the top. That goes to the person in charge. And I just think there's a pretty solid argument that things have not been smooth. And I mean, I've listened to people who have raved about Kathleen Kennedy and enjoy her, and way before the Gina Carano situation said, we think it's time for her to step down. Because business-wise, there's no argument. Yes, there's been some successes, but there's been a lot of dysfunction and failures also on her part and under her tenure as the president of Lucasfilm. So that leads us into the current state of things. And of course, it had to be from the top, Kathleen Kennedy, who made the decision to fire Gina Carano. And I will say this, when people would say, oh, well, you can't give Kathleen credit for The Mandalorian, I would say this. I would say, well, if I'm going to hold her accountable for movies I don't like, then I'm going to give her the praise for the TV show I do like, because she's over all of it.
Right.
So I give her that, but she just kind of ruined it with her decision. So the thing that I could kind of say, yeah, that was great, she just kind of ripped away with us with the Gina Carano situation.
You freaking ruined it, man.
And I'm not saying I'm not going to watch The Mandalorian, but Cara Dune's kind of a big role, really.
But I will say on a personal note, it does make it
dampens it.
It does.
And
I mean, it does. Like, there's no way around it. It dampens it. It makes it very bittersweet and more bitter than sweet.
And I mean, a lot of people are feeling that way. So now she's on the block for #cancel Disney Plus. And the fans, as we began this, just continue to let them know how they feel about this. And they're not happy. Spoiler alert, no one's happy. And again, this all falls on her. And you kind of have to wonder, I was speaking to someone today and they were saying how they were a big Marvel fan, but how all the hypocrisy that they've seen with Disney recently, which goes back to the Gina situation, that's what they were actually referring to, has made them kind of even dampen their love for Marvel. And now you're in a really big crunch.
Yeah.
If there's any amount of people.
I mean, how many more people can you tick off?
Yes. Like, my point is, not only are they now kind of dampen their love for Star Wars, it's now maybe going to begin to impact the way people feel about Marvel. And we see that. Again, we've addressed how literally one of the days WandaVision was premiering, or the episode was on, that literally hashtag cancel Disney Plus was also trending. And so my point is the decisions Kathleen Kennedy has made are not only impacting her division, it's now impacting the bottom line of Disney as a whole and other divisions. And it's not going to get better. So I just think I'm explaining to you from a business perspective why I think she does need to go, because she's already cost them at least $1 billion. And that's probably that's just from the movie section. And she's going to cost them more. I mean, we pretty much know it was Lucasfilm who made Hasbro to quit, to stop orders and to cancel the production of Cara Dune characters, which cost them money and Disney money. So it's just like she continues to make business decisions that don't make sense. Like
cutting off your nose to spite your face. Was that the saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing right now.
And it's just like, I've heard people who are kind of neutral on the Gina thing say, well, they must have thought she was going to cost them money. No, let me tell you who's going to cost them money. And that's Kathleen Kennedy.
Right.
Because she already has cost them money. And it's just her presence at this point is just going to further cost them money. You know, something else that's worth noting, Natalie, I don't know if you know this, but like, say at Star Wars Celebration, the woman almost goes into hiding, and she only comes on stage if someone else, she can
like a shield.
She can like come out with like Ewan McGregor, like, because she knows the audience is going to go crazy for Ewan McGregor. And if it's just her, she might get booed.
Right.
I mean, she
needs that protection. I mean, yeah, things are not at a good place when that's the point. The point things are at.
Can you imagine a Star Wars Celebration if she walked out now?
Oh,
I mean, it would just be like sheer boos. I mean, it's really bad. And it's kind of like, again, I acknowledge that she has worked on so many movies that we grew up with and love. But
and we try and be positive.
Yeah.
I think you guys know that have followed us for a long time. And, it's something I was talking to Michelle about too earlier when we discussing this, is I never wanted to seem like, oh, cancel Kathleen Kennedy.
No.
That's not what we're saying. Michelle really is. We're kind of looking at this as a business approach. And here's the difference. Well, not only was it political crap, obviously, why she was fired, but was Gina costing them money? No, the show was doing great. It was bringing people together. It was a freaking awesome show.
And she was a fan favorite.
She was a fan favorite. Her toys were selling. Merchandise was selling. But Kathleen Kennedy, she is costing the company and the business money. So, from a business point of view and a financial thing, that is the difference there.
Yes, and there is a difference between canceling someone. Look at what they did to Gina. They attacked her character and literally basically tried to get her blackballed, and have been successful thus far, from Hollywood.
Right.
It wasn't just like, you're fired from your job, go home, you can be on some other show. Heck no. It was basically, we're going to ruin your life.
I think it was you that said, I don't know if it was in a tweet, and I thought, gosh, that's so true. There's Shelley. But compliment you. But you said, with cancel culture, it's not even just like get fired. They want to erase that person from society. And I'm like, that's so true. Like it's so much deeper even than just like, it's not personal, it's business. It's like, no, they like no apology is going to be good enough. Like, no matter how small the infraction of whatever the thing is, whether it's the Bachelor guy or, we won't get into that, but it's just like, the mob is out of control.
It is.
So, and, they're out for blood. They want that person gone. Like, it's almost like they didn't exist anymore. Like, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah. And again, we're not saying cancel Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. I just want to make that distinction.
We're discussing a business decision. And the bottom line, which is what's important in a business, is she's already cost them a lot of money. And she's now going to cost them even further larger amounts of money. So it just doesn't make sense for her to stay at this point. And yes, I applaud her for all she's done in her past.
Yeah, nobody's taking away from that.
But in a business, it's not about what you did yesterday. It's about what are you doing for us now? And in a business sense, she's not helping you out now.
No.
So that is why Natalie and I...
Get woke, go broke, hashtag.
That is why Natalie and I think she should be let go. Oh, we'll say it the way she worded it for Gina, that her contract doesn't get fulfilled or picked back up. But now we'll discuss, do we think she will be fired? And my answer to that is yes and no. And I can explain to you that. First, for starters, there's YouTubers today that are running wild with the fact that the CEO of Disney just said she's a treasure when asked about her and Kevin Feige. Guys, that doesn't mean anything. She still works for the company. Of course he's going to applaud her.
I mean, what are you going to, like, oh, I hate the woman. I mean, what are you going to say?
Of course he's going to, and of course he's going to, listen, they're going to clap and applaud and say nothing but grand things until the moment she's out the door.
I mean, they're all in this together at this point.
And it would be suicide for them to bash someone who's so loved in Hollywood for what she has done in her past. So that's just good business. They're not going to bash her when she's still on their team. They're not going to bash her when she leaves. That's not how they're going to do it. They're going to just, thank you. And this is why I said yes and no.
Because she is kind of Hollywood royalty.
She is. So will they fire her? No. But will she probably be gone by the end of the year? I do believe she will be, because I believe her contract is up at the end of this year, and I believe they will find something else for her to do, and she will be gone.
Yeah.
So that is kind of my take.
Kind of a graceful exit.
Yes. It will be a graceful, see you later, thank you, we're going to applaud and worship you all the way out the door.
An honorable discharge.
Yes. Yes, basically. And so that's kind of my thoughts, Natalie. Is that I think that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be... Well, and here's the thing I was thinking about today. Star Wars still has so much potential.
Yes.
There's still so many fans. Like, it is not too late to turn the ship around.
Yeah. Before she said ship, I thought she was going with another word, but okay, yeah.
That too.
They both work.
Interchangeable, really. It's certainly not too late, but I do think a great unifying step would be let her have her honorable discharge. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, because there's really not going to be any peace there's not even going to be any healing with Star Wars fans right now until that step is done. So I just don't want, guys, from a business perspective, she's lost the money. She's going to continue to lose the money. It just doesn't make sense. So should she be let go? Yeah, I think she should be from a business perspective. Will she? She won't be fired, but she will gracefully be pushed out the door.
Just watch and see.
Yeah, so that is it for our thoughts on will Kathleen Kennedy be fired? And again, I respect people voicing their opinion. Just do it in doing it in a respectful way.
It's kind of like, hey, we're not being, just like outright rude or, like you said, disrespectful, but like hear us, like we're here.
Yes. So keep letting your voices
we're not
be known.
forgetting what happened. Yes.
Keep doing that. And let us know in the comments below, what do you think? Should she be fired? Will she be fired? Do you agree with our take on this? Let us know. Leave your comments below and we'll try to interact. We like this to be a conversation. Should definitely do that. Well, that is it for this episode of Force of Light Entertainment. And as always, remember to be a force of light.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.